Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a spotlight on Toren. This is a game that's been developed by Swordtales and is available on Steam, Good Old Games, and I believe the Humble Store for about $9.99, about 10 bucks. This is a very story-driven, I'm gonna call it an action-adventure game. It's not really an RPG, but you take on the role of this little girl who everybody seemed to think was called Toren, including myself. And no, she is an unnamed little girl. She's known as the Moonchild. And yeah, the tower that you're in is Toren. At least that's as far as I've been able to figure. It's about 2 hours long-ish. I was able to beat it in 2 hours, just shy, I think. And yeah, it's definitely interesting. It has its problems, though. So first off, let's just take a look at the video settings. There's not a lot here. You know, you've got resolution options, full screen on and off. You know, you've got your quality options, which consist of your generic sliders that mean nothing. Motion blur effect on and off, that's a beautiful option. I give it many points for that. You get many points for allowing me to turn off that god-awful motion blur. And SSAO, which they get no points for that because I don't care. That's pretty much it. SSAO has never pissed me off, so it doesn't get any points. But it doesn't lose points. So, yes, now we're working on a point system that I apparently just started 2 seconds ago and is now null and void. So now we've got the volume options. There really aren't any. And game settings. This is where you can rebind your controls. Or not-ish. Really, it's the same thing you've got with... You've got the same thing. Keyboard and mouse. And keyboard and gamepad. Not really rebindable, now are they? The store page does say that it highly recommends a controller. I'm going to parrot that because the keyboard controls, there's no technical reason. It's not like Brothers where there's actually a technical reason why keyboard controls aren't going to work so well. This doesn't have that technical reason. It's just they're so bad. You're fighting the controls so much. It's just such a pain in the ass to use. And I'm sure some people find it great. But I just cannot do it. It is just so bad. The controller controls are pretty good. So, enough of that. Let's hop in here and we're going to start off at the second chapter, not the first one here, because that's a lot of cutscenes. Cutscenes are not skippable in this, so you're pretty much left with whatever it gives you. So let's load this up. Alright, so here we are. So as you can see, camera movement isn't really a thing. You can sway the camera. But the camera is very restrictive. It very much points what you need to do. It is designed that way. Like, that's not a problem. That is a game design. The camera does at points have some issues. Sometimes it pans a little weird. I don't know why I came down here, because I don't need anything down here yet. Sometimes the camera goes into the wrong position where you will actually, like, here's a good example of good positioning. Later on, I think we'll see a good example of bad positioning where it basically hides where you need to go. And this is a deer, and we're going to pet the deer. Petting it the wrong way. Oh, God. That's got to feel awkward. So you're brushing the fur up. I shouldn't say that. I don't actually know what a deer is. Like, the way the camera jumps, That happens a lot. In this particular instance, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but in a way it kind of is. Like here, you run up here at full tilt, you don't know that these are here, and you step on them. You don't know what they do. You kind of do by looking at this, and you can kind of see your pattern. And boop, boop, boop. And here we have unskippable cutscene. There's nothing you can do to skip this. At least nothing that I've found, and I've hit damn near every key I can think of, or even not think of. But either way, this is your contract that you found, which has some significance to the story that I'm not going to get into. But it does then point to what I need to do. So, all in all, the game... Oh my god. Perfect timing. I'm sure you guys can hear the dog barking up a storm. The neighbors must have just decided to put it outside and leave it there. Anyway, back to the game. We're going to ignore the dog. We're going to attempt to ignore the dog. Oh my god, it sounds like it's inside. So, let's break this. Like I said, this is still very, very early on in the game. Things are very simple. Later on in the game, problems kind of come up with the camera a lot more. There was a point where the camera, it was facing in such a way that I could not see where I needed to be, and I ended up falling off the ledge. There was another point where the camera, well, the camera really does like to move in such a way that it kind of obscures your view or prevents you from truly being able to see where you need to go. There's a lot of times where the camera is almost straight on, and you've got a spot that kind of slopes down. Well, you don't know what's there. You can't see it. But you have to walk across it, because that's really the only place you could possibly go, and hope that it's not a mystery jump. There's other points where the camera, when you're coming back, like, for example, we come up here, and the camera goes here, and then you come back, and the camera, it doesn't pan to the other side, but in this particular instance, it doesn't matter. Like, this is kind of a bad example, but it's... At times, there's actually things there, and you know there's things there because you just walk past it, but you don't exactly know how close you are. So you can easily fall off. I've had a couple times where I had to go back down a staircase, and there was a jump, but I couldn't see where the jump was. So I ended up falling. Just fell down. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. On the plus side, death in this is not punishing in any way, shape, or form. All it really does is put you back to kind of their own little checkpoint area. It's not really a checkpoint, but it's sort of a checkpoint. Alright, yeah, we gotta go out here. And you just have to... You don't even need to repeat it. Like, right now, I do this. That falls. No, no. Jump down. Jump down. Down. That's the first time I've ever fallen there. So, you go to this. And he gives you a little speech. This is somebody. This is a wizard guy. As far as I can tell, he's dead. But I don't know for sure. And then, so it checkpointed me here. Now, that doesn't mean I have to redo this, because you can see that those are already glowing. I've already got it. I just need to run back. And I can pet the deer again. I'll pet the deer. Pet the deer. So that's really the detriment for death. Like, this is a good time for the camera to actually be facing the other way, because nobody likes... where am I going? I've forgotten where I was going here. Right, across it. Nobody likes walking into the unknown, is really what that is. I find the camera panning, when it does pan, it tends to pan really fast, and that kind of makes me a bit nauseous. Like, I get motion sickness fairly easy from playing games, and, you know, that is something that I keep an eye on. Movement is fairly weighted. And what I mean by that, actually, I don't want to go there. I want to push these. When you move, you're not just like this lightweight or weightless mass that just kind of moves freely no matter what and can start and stop on a dime. You know, you've got that delay. You know, you slowly ramp up to your speed. If you're going, you know, right and then go left, you have to turn around. You have to actually stop and move. I can't really say the same about objects in the world. Like, these ones actually, the way they're going is pretty weighted. But later on, more specifically at the final boss area, there are some pretty awkward, speaking of bosses, some pretty awkward platforms to move to progress. And it's awkward as hell. Just grabbing them is a kind of a pain in the ass, because you have your sword out at that time, and you actually end up swinging at it. Like, I was right up there, it pops up the little exclamation mark saying, hey, you can do something, and then you just swing at it instead of grabbing it. There's a lot of areas like that, but in that particular case, because of the way that boss fight goes, it's especially troublesome. That particular boss fight is tedious. It's very tedious. It involves kind of a run like this, only you have an NPC with you. The NPC will shield you from one of the dragon's attacks, and then you have to shield him from a different one. You know, it's because you get that ability to shield from a certain attack, or it's a defense of. These are kind of cool. These little... As a general rule, I don't really like these type of draw the pattern type puzzle things. Namely because the only challenge there is in them is usually at this point they have bad controls. But I find it really fits with the whole theme of this. This is a good a good example of bad camera. Like, that camera should have panned out way before here. Like, I figure as soon as this puzzle's done, the camera should no longer lock to the puzzle, and it should pan up and show what you actually want to see. This is a minor spot of that, but it gets much, much worse later down the line. And we have little dark sperms. Actually, let's get caught by one. So we need to throw them away. That's how you fight in this particular section. Once we get our sword, we'll be good. So when we get into things like this one, which is much more complex, and the camera is actually panning, it gets very, very difficult to do. Because as the camera's moving, like, if I don't constantly adjust, and even when I do constantly adjust, you've only got basically 8 points of rotation. It doesn't use the full 360. It's, like, you can see that it's almost 40, or, like, it doesn't go completely. She's got, like, snapping points. And that causes some serious problems. If there was finer control with her movement, the camera movement would be a minor nuisance. But in this particular case, it's much more than a minor nuisance. These guys are minor nuisances. Go away. Let's go. There's a point at the end. I can't remember if I actually mentioned this or not. Point in the end area where you have to go across invisible platforms, which are problematic. It is impossible to actually see these platforms. It really is completely impossible to see them. Unless I missed something somewhere, the only way to get through that area is to actually just walk and fall off the edge. She'll always grab the edge. Well, I shouldn't say always. Don't jump. But yeah, if you walk to the edge, like if I walk to the edge here, she'll do that. Always. And then you just pull yourself up. And then continue walking until... and then pull yourself up. Or apparently in this particular case, fall down. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. There we go. That was annoying. So her falling down like that is not normal. I believe that is a bug. Let's just go. As far as I can tell, these guys really are harmless. Or not. I've never actually walked into one, so there we go. They're not harmless. They're just mostly harmless. Just don't walk into them. I figured something like that would happen, but, you know, it's always good to test these things, right? Texture quality on a lot of these objects is really good, but at some points it looks really weird. Like, where I'm standing right now, this... Oh, just fell off of it. This little lip here looks really blurry and kind of out of place. Whereas even this little triangle thing looks much better. Like, infinitely better. So there's a lot of kind of inconsistencies with that kind of detail, I guess. Mind you, the texture work isn't especially super high fidelity anyway, but it is pretty good. I think it really does get the point across. And in a case like this, where you're kind of in a dream, well, you are in a dream world, it's understandable. You know, you kind of want things to look fuzzy and blurry, but you don't want them to look out of place. And there's a lot of this running up places. At times, I kind of feel like the enemies are just sort of there because they're there. And of course, you grow up. So, and you change your outfit. Things change, things happen. Great evil is in existence, and you need to stop it. I thought I'd figured out what this was, but at this point, I am not sure. Like, I thought those red were, like, dreams that I completed. But unless it actually carries things over from, you know, my previous save, then it just, I'm confused. I'm really confused. Alright, so here we are as slightly older Moonchild, and the dragon is just kind of taking a nap, and camera snaps away. There we go. See, camera just doesn't know whether it's coming or going half the time. Let us get our sword. To the sword! And, we slipped. Oh no. No, 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 no. The dragon is turning us to stone. This, I think, is funny. You know, she's dragging her feet, but her dress is still flapping in the wind. But I do like the fact that she pulled herself and her feet dragged, like she wasn't using them. I have seen similar. I'm turning to stone, but I have full use of my appendages. Right. So now, we are stone. You can see us reaching for the sword. Camera gently pans down. This is actually a really nice pan. It's a good cinematic here. And we are now a baby in a pool of blood that just magically appears. And sword. And we are back to dogs barking and back to our, second stage, I'm calling her? So now we can get our sword. Our sword. Our sword in the grass. So there we go. You have found a sword. Now you can attack your enemies. Thank you. Thank you for that. I much appreciate it. So, there's a lot of monster sounds, but there really are no monsters around here. Let's head up here to where there are monsters. Look! It's the dragon. Oh, he didn't cast his little spell. Do I have to go up there, or can I go this way? Yeah, I think I can go this way. Oh no, this way is not really gonna bring me anywhere, is it? I can't remember. I don't think I went this way in... Yeah, I didn't go this way in my playthrough. But I think this is where the bad guy noises are. Hello. Oh. And we're dead because we're not supposed to go that way. Okay. So that's what happens when we go that way. Alright, so let's go the way the dragon actually wants us to go. Like, this is the funny part of this whole story, is the dragon itself could kill us at any point, and does, literally. And knows we're out to kill it. Oh, this is the use of their interactive cinematics. There's certain areas that are cinematic, like actual cinematics, that I feel should be proper cinematics that you use that. So you go back to it. It's just a little on the strange side. combat isn't really a thing. It's just she swings her sword randomly, and as long as her arc is at the point somewhere around where those guys are, it's a hit, and they just disappear. There's really nothing to it. Combat isn't really a thing in this. Like, this is pretty much the most combat-centric part of this. Which isn't really much. It's kind of a beginning to showing you how this works. So, you attack 3 times, and you get the hell behind one of these. Because unless you have this sword in your hand, what happens is you turn to stone and die. But those statues, with their swords held high, well, they protect you. Oh, got it just in time. And each time, it goes a little bit further away. And let's get behind this guy, and we'll take a look. So we're up there. And let's go. Go, 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 go. Oh, no. Dang it. I would have got there, too, if it hadn't changed the camera. I don't actually think I would have, but... You know, and this is where kind of the checkpointing is awkward. Now I have to go all the way back up. I know it's not really that far, but it's far enough. But I am closer. Closer to my sword. I think I actually did the same thing. Because you're supposed to move those statues. They're on rails. And you can move them to where you need them to be. Up we go. And grab the sword. We are protected. This also helps you see the distance. So if I stand about here, I will have to block it myself. And this is a good thing to test. This is the... See how close you are? That's a good thing to know for the final fight. Because you need to defend that guy. Or else he's gonna go to stone. One hit wonder right there. And he's a dragon and likes to fall off things. And we're down. And back to the wizard. So you're getting a little bit of story here, even though I try to avoid, you know, spoilers. Not that you really can in something like this. And at this point, you'd probably be like, I don't... What? Who? Where? When? Why? How? Bacon? These little subtitled areas, I do find them to be a little bit too short. They're not on screen long enough. This is another one of these little puzzles. Again, this one's fairly easy. It doesn't move. You just do your thing. You also don't need to have the whole thing done. And this here is kind of... This is where I'd like to be able to skip cutscenes. Yeah, I know where the deer is. I saw the deer. I can hear the deer. Can we get on with this? Yes. I heard what he said. Can we move on? Let's go. Okay, there's a hand. Yeah, great. Let's go. You know, it's just... I got it. I understand. I have to kill the deer. Let's just get this over and done with so we can go. And then there's this. You can't kill the deer yet, but as you do this, you notice that the deer follows you. Very slowly. I personally think they should have increased the deer speed. And then there's this. If you move just a little bit, you kind of got this little limp. I thought this was funny. I actually had a nice chuckle about it. But the deer moves too slow. This is my complaint. The deer moves too slow. Make it go faster. And then it does this. It really is on a predefined path. Which I guess works because you could always, I guess, lead it off. Like, so you won't follow me here. I know, I guaranteed, I would, like, lead him off the cliff. At some point. I would do it on purpose. And then at this point, this I don't get. You know, he's scared. But like, first off, I don't think I've ever seen a deer do that. Not that I'm, you know, the foremost authority on deers. But this just looks really weird and painful. Like, maybe if there was, like, some sort of, like, light holding him here. But when deer are afraid, they run away. It's just, yeah, it's just weird. And then the blood. When you slice him, nothing happens. But when you stab him, blood goes everywhere. And then you pray. Because that actually makes sense. I know I'm kind of just making fun of stupid shit at this point that has no bearing on anything. But that's really all I got left. Like... Oh. No, I have one more complaint. It's not really a complaint, just oddity. Come on. Jump! She jumps like Princess Peach in Super Mario 2. She's all floaty. I'm not sure if that's intentional or what. But yeah, that's just kind of weird. I'm going this way. There's actually two pathways. I'm going this way because I'm trying to trigger the well, this is one good indication of the camera problems. Like, why am I facing away from where I need to be? This is like design the camera for failure. It really is. Where was it? Yeah, it was up there. Yeah, I came this way. And what happened here is where, see how it panned up this way? It didn't. It was still kind of, I can't even do it, but it was all screwed up. It really was all screwed up. And this, I thought was over here, and I thought was a jump. So I jumped and fell to my death and got annoyed. So I went the other way and it was fine. And apparently this way is semi-fine too, except for, you know, that one part where it's pointing the wrong direction. Yeah, I guess my biggest complaint with this game is the camera. Like, really, my only complaint, really, with the game, my only real complaint is the camera. A secondary is the atrocious keyboard controls. Other than that, it's a little janky here and there. But overall, is a very good game. It's very, very... I find the story, albeit confusing, really nice. The graphics aren't, you know, super AAA quality. They're not, you know, awesome animations. They get the job done. They do what they need to do. And I think they do it fairly well. Her dress could be toned down a bit. Like, really, her dress at times is out of control. Like, seriously, it has a mind of its own. And skippable cutscenes. Like, I personally find skippable cutscenes something that is really required. Because this could be an interesting game. It really could. So, yeah. Broke my head. Don't seem to care, but, broke my head. Anyway, I am going to end this here. I'm not going to open these doors that are pulsating like a heartbeat. I'm going to end this here. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And we will see you next time.